and get started. For this one, we're going to be starting doing some stuff with the toes and the feet. So if you are wearing shoes or socks, please take them off. And find somewhere you can comfortably sit, chair, couch, on the ground if you have the mobility for it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one foot and you're going to interlace your fingers in between your toes so that you got them all nice and spread. And what we're going to be doing here is you're going to kind of just be moving your toes around. So at first you can just bend and flex your toes like this, grabbing and just kind of working in that motion. And then you can also twist your foot laterally. So if you think that there's a line around your middle toe, and you're just twisting. While you're doing this, try and focus on your breathing. You don't have to hold your leg up. You can put it down. That's just to show. Try and focus on your breathing. Nice big inhales. If you are sitting on the ground, try and make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. And you're just going to do forward and back, no rotations. If you're feeling really comfortable with this, you can do like full twisting of your entire foot. So opening up, stretching the arch, and just kind of allowing your toes to open up and allowing your foot to relax. If you feel anywhere that's like super tense, you can spend a bit more time doing that. And again, just kind of check in with your breathing. Try and work on big inhales and big exhales. And then we're going to go ahead and switch to the other side. So again, give me on the ground, on the couch, wherever you can comfortably sit and grab onto your foot without putting strain in your back and your hips. Right, we want this to be comfortable, relaxing, allowing you to just kind of work in some movement in the toes. So nice and upright, working on the breathing. Again, that like rotation around your toes. Getting into pronation and supination. So you're not trying to force this really hard, get into any kind of particular stretching. It's more just trying to get movement in the joints and the bones. And then if you want to, you can do the full big range circles. And this one you can put a little bit of stretching into it, just because you're now working the calves and stronger muscles. Again, just check in with your breathing. Try to be slow and deep. And we're going to go ahead, we'll let that off and lay down on the ground. So go ahead and have both legs up here. You're going to take one and grab behind your knee and just gently pull it down as far as you can comfortably while keeping weight on your pelvis. So you want to almost push down slightly with your other leg. And then you're going to exhale and push your leg up. Inhale, let it come down. So just exhale, driving, feeling that hamstring stretch, maybe that calf stretch. Try and think as you exhale, your ribs shift down towards your pelvis. As you inhale, your belly expands to the ceiling. One of the cues I've enjoyed thinking about when I'm doing inhaling is I'm trying to fill a balloon inside my tummy. And think of that visualization, just that you're trying to expand your stomach like a balloon. One more on this one. And trying to feel the weight maintained on your pelvis. And then bring it down. We're going to switch legs. Put that other one up. Same thing, pull it down. So you feel like you can't go any further. Nice extension. Now something to check in here is whether or not as you move this leg up, you've tilted your pelvis this way. So to do that, you can just kind of check in this way. So just laterally rotating until you find a nice neutral point. Often as you pull the leg up like this, your pelvis will shift. So if you want to make this a little bit more intensive, you can try and get your toes involved, doing some pointing at the top. You might feel that in the front of your shin. You don't have to. That's just if you want to try and get a little bit more stretch, a little bit more challenge into this. And we're going to go ahead and let this one come down. And we're going to take this leg, we're going to bring it back up. You can grab the knee, under the knee or on top of the knee, because we're going to hold in this position. Now what we're going to do is extend this leg, keeping this leg nice and secure. You're just going to lower this one slowly, trying not to have any shift in your pelvis and your spine. If you can't get to the ground, that's all right. Just trying to hold wherever you can get to without shifting. I'm going to take some breaths here. Nice big, slow inhales and exhales. If you can get to the ground, try and think you're pushing your heel into the ground, opening up. You can generate some more force by pulling this leg down a little harder. And then we're going to go ahead and switch. This leg comes down. You're grabbing this one wherever is comfortable. Extend. And then just slowly lower. Try not to have the movement shift in your pelvis or your spine. And if you can't get to the ground, it's totally right. Try and just keep extending your leg as far away as you can. If you can get to the ground, try and think pushing, shoving your heel downwards, squeezing the glute on that side. And just calmly breathing. Trying to open up your hips. And we'll go ahead and put this leg down and roll to a side and sit up. Next, we're going to do is some spread foot seated forward reaching. So you want to be seated up nice and tall with your legs out at a comfortable width. So you don't have to like crank them open as far as you can. What I like to do is put my hands down and then roll forward a little bit so I can really feel the pelvis is nice and neutral. We're going to sit here in this nice upright position. If you need your hands behind you to maintain that, it's totally fine. Just breathe a couple times. Really trying to think extending your head to the ceiling. Your toes should be pointing upwards. And now what we're going to be doing is reaching to 3 points using an exhale. So turn, face one foot, big inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to lean towards that foot, trying to keep your toes pulled back towards you. Inhale, you're going to come up. Exhale, you're going to go forwards, reaching, leaning forwards at your pelvis as far as you can. You're going to come up. I'll go on the other side. Trying to really think you're reaching further with the opposite hand. Come back to the middle. So if you're moving towards your left foot, you want to reach really hard with your right hand, because that's the one that's going to get more stretching down into your lats. Just allow yourself to calmly breathe as you're shifting in between these positions. Try not to go quickly. Try not to force into it. You just want to gently push your hands away. Feeling a stretch in the hamstring and the groin. I'm going to go one more on each of these. Just allow yourself to calmly breathe. And again, you shouldn't be pushing into pain, into discomfort. You want to just feel that stretch and come out of it. Now what we're going to do, sit and crisscross, or cross sit, whatever you want to call this. So again, trying to really find that nice neutral pelvis. What we're going to strive for here is doing some cat-cow in seated position. So this is really going to work in your pelvis control. So from here, just let your arms relax by your sides. And then you're going to push your chest backwards, squeeze your glutes, tuck your head down. And inhale, you're going to bring your chest forwards, trying to roll your pelvis towards your feet. Head goes up, feeling this in your chest. Exhale, chest backwards, squeezing your glutes, head down. Inhale, chest forwards, looking up at the ceiling. So just back and forth. Trying to feel your pelvis rolling in each position. It most likely will feel much tighter as you roll forwards. That's okay. Try and just feel it out. See if you can make the movements relatively equal. So if it's much easier to roll backwards, which it should be, try not to over roll. See if you can make the distance the same. What you can also work on here is getting really deep inhales and deep exhales. So when you're coming forwards, trying to breathe in as much air as you can. When you're going backwards, getting out all your air. You should feel a lot of movement in your rib cage. We'll do one more into what would be the cow. And then exhale and just come to a nice neutral seated position. Next up, we're going to do some thoracic upper chest rotations here. So you can have your hands in a couple different places. Thumbs to your shoulders, to the back of your head, or your arms extended to the side. That is an increasing level of difficulty, so wherever you feel comfortable, I'm going to have my arms up here. I'll just pause, getting comfortable with the arms in whatever position they're in. And now what we're going to do is leading with one hand, you're going to twist, pulling that hand backwards. You exhale, inhaling back to neutral, and exhaling. You twist to the other side, and you move forwards. So that's sometimes, if you're too close to walls, you might need to adjust. If you do have to adjust, just pause with an inhale before you get back into it. And really try and think you're pulling with your backwards hand, feeling that your upper back in between your shoulder blades. And then a nice big exhale. And as with some of the other stuff, when you're exhaling, you want to try and keep the ribs downwards so that you don't flare up. And just to show what this looks like with the other one, so when you're here, you're pulling the elbow back. This elbow stays extended. You almost want to pull back with both slightly, and you're just leading the motion with the other one. Same thing with here. You're pulling your hand backwards. Just getting that twist. Okay, very nice. What we're going to do next is something that might be kind of challenging. You're going to get to a standing position. This is going to be some deep squat breathing exercises. So if you know you can comfortably get to a deep squat with hip width, which is here, all the way down, I'm going to go ahead and try that. If you struggle with this, I want you to get your feet nice and wide and toes angled to the side. You're going to sink down and try and keep your knees open so you can get down and comfortably relax. Right? From here, you can try and work your feet inwards to get to this hip width position. But if you can't do that, that's also fine. Getting down to a deep squat can be challenging. So just try and work at a position, right? So you have to be nice and wide, that is comfortable. Once you're in that position, you're going to try to bring your chest forwards, your head backwards, and find your glutes. So you want to think about squeezing and holding. And what we're going to do here is you can let your arms relax. If you want to let them relax on your knees, punch it down either way. Finding the glutes, pushing down with your toes, particularly the knuckles of your big toes. We're going to breathe here. Now, breathing here is fine, not too challenging. If you want to make it harder and you are comfortable with your deep squat, so your knee is nice and narrow, what you can try for is extending the arms up and breathing here. Again, trying to pull your chest forwards, finding the glutes. Reaching up to the ceiling, backwards. You should fire up the shins to upper back, on the different areas. Again, if that's too challenging, right, totally right, you just relax and breathe. But this deep squat position is a really effective way to get a lot of body parts going all at once. Again, really make sure you're checking in with your feet and your toes as you're sitting in this position, finding the glutes. You want to feel the knuckles, your toes down. And we're going to go ahead and come out of this so you can go ahead and stand up. You need to shake the shins out a little bit. Deep squat can be pretty challenging. What we're going to try for now is a toe squat. So this is a balance exercise. We're going to come down again to the deep squat. And then you're going to rock forwards. Nope, that's actually a bad way to get into that. Never mind, sorry. There's so many different ways to get into that, and I realize that one's actually one of the harder ones. Tall kneeling position, and you're going to put your toes on the ground. A much easier way to get into this if you don't know how. And you're going to sit down onto your heels. Now, if this by itself is challenging, you're feeling a lot of tension in your toes, you just work here, breathe here. So just sitting, allowing your arms to relax, breathing in this position. If this is not too intensive, what you can do is reach backwards and shift your body weight until you're balancing on your toes, on the ball of your foot. And then we'll hold here and breathe here. Again, so either way, either in the tall kneeling or in the toe squat, feeling this tension in the feet and toes, finding a slight arch to the low back, and just breathing comfortably. Whoop. One of the one times that gotta keep your eyes open. You're working on your balance. It's also a really good time to focus on opening your chest up. Feeling the shoulder blades kind of not pinch behind you, but just kind of spread. If this is getting tiring on the toes, it's totally right. Come down into the kneeling position. From here, and take a nice big inhale and then exhale. Stand, step out of that. Ooh, a lot of work on the toes today. Ooh. Okay, so we're gonna find our nice standing posture, find the glutes, find the abs, allow yourself to I'm going to comfortably pause in this position. And what we're going to do here is you're going to bring your arms up. And then with your next exhale, you're going to reach your arms behind you as far as you can. And then come back. So, knees bent, glutes engaged, reach your arms behind you. If you feel this in the low back, try to think reaching more upwards before you go straight back, because that's going, if you don't have the control, you might pinch in the low back trying to get that. So if you're here, reaching up and then kind of leaning backwards, it's a good way to avoid that. But also keeping your knees soft and your hips pushed forwards. Reaching and coming back. You can also sweep your arms upwards. I find that's a little bit more challenging to keep my shoulders down. But if this is difficult and you want to try the other version, you totally can. Making sure you're keeping your knees relaxed and your glutes engaged. So nice big reaches. Should feel a really good stretch in your chest as you're doing this. Make sure you're calmly breathing. I'm going to go one more. Move the arms down. Let them relax. Next up, what we're going to do is some alternating arm circles. So you're going to start with your arms reaching here. And the one arm goes down, one arm goes up, out to the side, and then you match them in the middle. So this is kind of a bit of a coordination challenge, as well as probably pretty strenuous in the upper body. So you want to go slow enough that you can control it, but fast enough that you're still actively moving. You should feel the shoulder blades kind of doing alternate movements. So as your arm's coming down on one side, you should feel it twisting down. As it's going up on the other side, feel it twisting up. So allow yourself to calmly breathe. I'm going to pause here and go the other way. Trying to reach your arms forwards. And just calmly breathing, keeping your head extended, keeping your knees relaxed. Shoulders might be getting a little bit of lactic acid. That's okay, as long as it's not too painful. If it is, feel free to stop. I'm going to stop on this next one, pausing here, putting arms down, shaking them out if you need to. Next up, we're going to do some chest openers. So we're going to take fists, put them on the temples. Breathe here, get used to that position, feeling that stretch in your chest. And then you're going to reach your elbows as far forward as you can. Again, same thing, breathe. Now what we're going to do is with the next exhale, you're going to reach your elbows out to the side, opening up. Inhale. And exhale. Knees are relaxed, glutes are engaged. Calmly breathing. Pulling your elbows backwards as you reach them out to the sides. I'm going to do one last one. There's a timer I have going on my phone to keep me on track. So with that, we're going to spend this last little bit of time, eyes closed, let your arms relax. We're going to work on the standing posture. So keep your knees soft, push your hips forward a little bit, and extend yourself upwards. As you calmly breathe here, try and push your head to the ceiling. And let it relax. Whoop. Sorry, I thought I had that on quiet. Sorry about that. And with that, that is going to be the end of the applied mobility class. I'm going to go ahead